So, hi, hello there. You guys want to talk about your favorite YouTubers? Yeah, so in case you guys couldn't tell by the title of the video and the thumbnail, today's going to be a very interesting topic because for quite a while now, in fact, ever since the beginning of January, I wanted to but I wanted to make some kind of a video where I highlight all of the content creators that basically inspired this channel just to some degree, to put it that way. And I've been thinking about that a lot more ever since some of our favorite YouTubers have started going on the retirement route, you know, with Captain Sparkles and MatPat, to name like the most iconic ones within the niche of gaming. And so because of that, it got me thinking of, you know, as someone who considers himself a next generation YouTuber, who were the people that are still going strong with content today, but have inspired me to basically do the content that I make today. Also, by the way, before we begin, I have a big list here on my phone. There's like 10 people here, give or take. And the reason being is because they're all absolutely amazing people, you know, shout outs to them. They've inspired the content in so many obvious ways, and also in such of the subtle details that you would have to really pay attention to. And so, you know, big thank you to you guys on that part. And I guess this is where we get the ball rolling. So the obvious people, to get those guys out of the way, Some Call Me Johnny, Ant Dude, and Scott the Woz have inspired the content in regards to the structure of some of the videos, particularly the review videos, because these guys, when I was watching them in 2020, when the world was to a screeching halt, I was watching a lot of those guys. In fact, even before, like 2018, I was watching, Some Call Me Johnny with Kingdom Hearts, with Mega Man X Review Marathon, and I think also a little bit of Castlevania and Mega Man 11. I was starting to watch his stuff around that time, and the same hold true with Ant Dude and Scott the Woz. And when 2020 hit, and I was like, I have nothing else better to do, and I'll just make a YouTube channel. Those guys inspired me, and knowing that the type of content that I feel really the most passionate about doing, because it just fits with my personality, is the review videos. It's analyzing the games that I played in the past, give my feedback to them, make funny skits in between whenever I possibly can. I don't know, for example, these were big Scott the Woz inspirations, but earlier on in the early days of the channel, there was like these beginning skits and ending skits that were inspired in part of Scott the Woz, and also inspired in part by Smosh, which I'll talk a little bit more. Unless there's like chapters in this video, then you'll probably go to the Smosh chapter, in which case, thank you. But Scott the Woz inspired me a lot in creating a comedy style video, while Ant Dude and Some Call Me Johnny helped me sort of formulate my thoughts and being able to, create something that has a lasting impression. Obviously, Scott the Woz did that too, but also to keep it within the framework of my personality, Oftentimes when I look at Some Call Me Johnny, I feel like we're one of the same, and so it keeps me going and knowing that, okay, there is somebody that has a similar humor to me, or a humor that I associate myself with a lot, and I'm able to be myself in that aspect, and pushing that style of humor out, and my reactions and my baritones and inflections and whatnot. So Some Call Me Johnny helped me a lot with that. Ant Dude helped me a lot in terms of camera setup, because in case you can't tell, a lot of people have commented a lot in some of my videos of, oh, you kind of have an Ant Dude vibe to yourself, and other times they say that, oh, are you related to Ant Dude? And sometimes I wish I could play with that as a joke and be like, yeah, I definitely know who Ant Dude is. I mean, yeah, as like a family member. I screwed up that bit so badly. But yeah, those are obviously the heavy hitters in terms of, the big major inspirations of how I handle the content. But if you notice in some of the other stuff that I make, and some of the other kind of videos that I love making, like video essay content, which are like the video game topics, and the discussion videos, this is where these guys kind of come into play and help me sort of get creative with some ideas and obviously with the presentation of it, but also to just have a conversation going. And with these guys, it's Jay's Reviews and Kiro Talks. And Kiro Talks is one that I think a lot of people are gonna like get that immediately like anime alarm sound in their head, because you'll notice that the way that I have certain thumbnails, it's kind of similar to Kiro Talks, but that's because I just love the way that he keeps a level of simplicity while obviously tackling certain aspects within the confounds of the gaming industry. If you are an avid fan of Kiro Talks, then you know more or less what I mean by that, but if you're not, then for example, let's pull up a video that I've made, which was video game crossovers and rivals in video games, where those videos are clearly inspired by Kiro Talks in the sense of grabbing a topic within the video game industry, try and filter it through, and then get specific examples of your personal experiences with games that have this category in mind, and then you make that video, as if it wasn't blatantly obvious. For example, rivals in video games sounds a lot like malls in video games and princesses in video games, which are all Kiro Talk video ideas that he has done in the past. I think it's pretty aware that Kiro Talks is a major inspiration in the video essay content that I make, which is obviously, something I like doing every now and then, even though like the heavy hitters, in my opinion, are the reviews themselves. And then with Jay's Reviews, it's more, again, structure based. It's also a lot more in terms of, keeping a certain level of inflection and pacing going when you're doing voice recordings. And obviously it's just more of like a voice direction kind of thing, because I love Jay's Reviews voice. I love how it's very natural. He's not reading off of a script, which sometimes I feel like I struggle a lot with. Sometimes when I'm writing a script for a review video, sometimes I feel like, oh, I'm reading it rather than just me using it as a guide, and obviously like I have to read it, but it has more of like a natural cadence to it and a natural rhythm to it based on like how I would talk unscripted, in a discussion video of sorts. But Jay's Reviews help me out a lot in that department. Whenever I need help in understanding that, my voice doesn't suck, my voice is in good pitch, my voice is in good cadence, I'm doing fine with the voice recordings, I always go to Jay Reviews, and I always, love listening to him, and I always love, the videos that he makes and the more analytical side of how he, takes apart certain aspects of a game that he's reviewing, and as he gives his personal experiences with it and how he felt about them growing up or how he felt about them at a certain point in time in his gaming career. And I lean a lot into that in terms of learning how I can engage with you in that storytelling aspect, which again, some call me Johnny, and Ant-Dude has also helped me in that regard. But now onto more obscure ones, like obscure inspirations where you wouldn't have noticed it until I tell you out loud right now as we speak, and then you'd be like, oh, like to go back to that joke that I made a few minutes ago. But now we're going to be talking about those, and these guys, well, one of them and then the rest of them will follow their, like a domino effect. These guys are the ones that inspired a lot of the thumbnail designs that I like to have for the reviews, and also in terms of like the style of presenting myself as a content creator. So Alpharad and all of Wildcard, since spoiler alert, those are those guys. Again, like chapters in the video will let you know on that front. But Alpharad, Jacob, Jaden Animations, Giwi, Ouija, all of Wildcard, those guys inspired the way I think in regards to making a YouTube video. As much as I said that, yes, on an analytical sense, Jay's Reviews and Kiro Talks has inspired the topics of some of the videos that I made, and then of course with Some Call Me Johnny, Ant-Dude, and Scott the Woz, they inspired the form and sort of structure of the video. Structure and style are two completely different things, and Alpharad has taught me to sort of engage more with how you want to present yourself, and not just in terms of the video content that you're making, but how you make that video content. So for example, when you look at the review videos that I make and the title of the videos that they have, but specifically the thumbnails of them, especially the ones that are commissioned artworks, you'll notice that those are they're very inspired by how AlphaRad has his commission thumbnails and how he works with his thumbnails to some capacity. It's that level of engaging with your audience that has inspired me in terms of the style of the content that I make, and not so much the content function, but in terms of just presenting myself in this manner, in this fashion. And another way that he inspired me, and then all of Wildcard, is the ability to be ingenuine with yourself. The ingenuity of how they speak, they talk, they make jokes, they do bits and all that kind of stuff. You know, that has inspired me a lot in my style of content as well. And also, I just like the way that he creates like a story, you know? And most of the videos that he's made, for example, you know, the recent ones, my favorite ones are like the Pokemon Nuzlocke ones that he does, because he compiles all of the streams that he has done on Twitch, edits it, and then writes a script and gives you a story of what happens from the moment he starts the stream and to the moment he ends the stream, and everything else in between. You know, like there's a story that he weaves and kind of gives like this bonfire cavern experience of like, hey, weary traveler, did you know that I once did this Nuzlocke and whatnot? And then this is a story unfold, or you know, it's like a very, not to sound very parasocial in this aspect, but it's very Big Brother energy, you know? Like a big brother that has told you some of the crazy shit that has happened to him, and then like he lays it onto the little brother and he's like, yeah, this happened to me. AlphaRad inspires me to kind of present that, to have that conversation, to have that style when I review my games, when I review certain things, and when I discuss certain topics, where I want to weave a story. I want to create a story for you guys to engage with, not just of me talking about how I feel about a game, but why I feel about that game, how I felt about certain moments, and obviously, you know, the way that I edit in certain pieces here and there, and some of the animation, the minimal editing, and all that kind of stuff. You know, AlphaRad and all of Wildcard has superly inspired me to put it to that degree, to give you that level of descriptor, because I just rambled right now, and my brain is trying to catch up to the very moment in time where, all right, settle down now, and then continue to talk on what you have to talk about. So yeah, give me a second. But now here, the later portion, and the final inspirations to the channel. This one goes way back, and this one's very nostalgic for me, because for a while I stopped watching their content, and it wasn't until they brought the band back together that I just suddenly had a renewed interest, a flame within me, you know, rekindled. And for those that are aware, obviously, because it's going to be said in the chapters, and I already hinted at it at the beginning of the video, Smosh is also a major inspiration to the channel, which you would think, like, you reviewing video games and video game essays, how the hell are these guys who gave sketch comedy sort of like their atmosphere and then build off like a big company with Smosh Games and Smosh Pit and Smosh Mouth, like how are these guys your inspiration? And I am so happy to tell you why. The biggest reasons why they are inspiration to me is because of the creativity level and the direction that they push their content. You know, again, to go back to what I said with Song Call Me Johnny, with AlphaRad, and with Antdude, Jay's Reviews, again, they're more of the style of content, the way I want to present myself, the presentation aspect and the editing of it, and then of course the form of the content itself, video game reviews and video game essays. But the creativity level of making the next idea work and ensuring that it works, and even if it doesn't work, it's still something that you put your heart and soul into. Smosh inspired me to that degree. You know, they gave me a awesome childhood growing up. In 2012, 2013, you know, I've watched them at that prime, you know, at that era. And of course, it slowly faded, especially when Anthony left. Yeah, I have to admit, I was one of those guys. I was like, I guess I'm not gonna watch it because Anthony isn't there anymore. Like the feelings isn't the same anymore. And then when he got back is when I was like, wow, this is insane. Like, now I have to catch up. And these guys have taught me so much in terms of the presentation, and obviously, like, also in terms of presentation. In terms of improv, you know, like if you look at the streams that I made recently, like I would not imagine me going that far in improvising skits and bits and, you know, some funny jokes and quips here and there. But watching these guys with Try Not to Laugh and Smosh Pit, and just the way they play the board games and Smosh games, it keeps me on my toes. It's like, oh, I have to be witty. I have to start being witty in terms of how I want to talk about certain things. I have to, you know, push myself to that degree. And these guys nail it. These guys absolutely are fantastic in that department. And I'm just so happy to be able to watch them now, and as like a 23-year-old, because they inspire me in that aspect. They inspire me to be creative. They inspire me to let loose and just enjoy the process, you know, to enjoy the work that you're putting, you know, the hours into, and to just have fun creating something. Because when you look back at that, you'll appreciate the memories, you'll appreciate the experience and the hard work, and then from there, you build on top of that. And Smosh has shown me that so many times. Whenever I watch a video that they make on a day-to-day basis, they've allowed me that window of opportunity to be like, I can just as much improvise as they can, I can be just as wacky as they can, and I can just allow myself to be loose and have fun. And so yeah, these guys are the YouTubers that inspire me. There you go. I set the line, ladies and gentlemen. I set the title of the video. Woohoo! There we go. There we go. Yes, yes. Give me the claps, all that, the confetti, all that. Yes, I'll relish in it. But obviously, you know, jokes aside, yeah, these are the ones that truly, you know, whether they see this video or not, I highly doubt they are, to be honest. If I gotta be completely transparent with you, I personally don't think they're gonna watch this video. It's gonna show them in their, you know, For You page. But if it does, naturally, these are just a factor of my feelings, because there's so much I want to say to you guys in person, and there's so much that I want to thank you guys for in person. But as we speak with this video, these are my feelings. This is how I feel about the content you guys make, and this is like a personalized thank you for all the hard work that you've done for the past 5 to 10 years for some of you guys, 10 plus years for a lot of you. And, you know, just thank you for allowing us to be able to be in the same sort of room, if that makes any sense, you know, to be able to show us that you can do it too, and we know that you'll be able to do it just as well as we can. And I hope that's the big message of this video. And obviously, I want to see your comments. And for those that want to be YouTubers, that want to be content creators, you know, comment down below the inspirations that the people that you watch, and how they inspire you to be a better person, to be sort of a personality trait or whatever. Or if you want to be a YouTuber in the, you know, and all that kind of stuff, tell me your inspirations, because there's a reason they inspire us to begin with, because there's something within them. There's a spark inside them that just beams so brightly that it just shines the room, and that's what I want to do as well. And that's what I'm going to continue to do moving forward. And that's just the type of person that I am. You know, much like how they have that spark, I have that spark, and I want to give you that spark onto you guys as I make and finalize this video as we speak. And so, yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's gonna be pretty funny how we have this very sentimental video, and then next thing you know, we have like the Ace Attorney review that I've been teasing already, you know? So it's gonna be a weird imbalance of emotional, you know, feelings and whatnot. But I just wanted to say thank you to all those guys, and just, you know, tell them how I feel. And yeah, that's the end of the video, I guess. No outro is gonna be rolled now. You're gonna see the cards pop up here and whatnot, and this beautiful, sexy face. But I guess to cut this out, I love you all, as always, to 120, and peace out. Peace out.